Hello and welcome to Floorplanner. This is your subscription 6 and project upgrades 4 presentation. I wanted to note specifically what today is because this is kind of time sensitive information. So today is May 16th, 2023, 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Daylight Time here in the United States. Again, I'd like to really mention as a timestamp for this recording, so you have a point of reference because Floorplanner is not a stagnant program. It keeps evolving and changing. So the information that I'm presenting today is specific to the state. And certainly can change in the future. So I wanted to give you a benchmark as to where we are and what we're talking about today. And I'll give you a reference as to where to find the most current information also on our website. But let's get started. Appreciate you all being with me today. A little bit of background. My name is Bob. I'm based here in the United States, although Floorplanner is a European-based program out of the Netherlands, out of Rotterdam specifically. And since we're kind of a Dutch company, we're not real big on job titles. So let's just say I'm here for customer success. I'm here to support you all to get you as comfortable as possible utilizing Floorplanner and acquainted with us for sure. And then as you develop your technique, help you along the way. Floorplanner is a very intuitive program, but it always helps to have somebody show you the ropes a little bit and guide you into the platform, get you started. That's why I'm here for you. A lot of diversity as to whom you all are as users of Floorplanner. When Floorplanner started back in 2007, we started supporting the real estate professionals over in the Netherlands and surrounding countries over there. We still do today, and of course have expanded around the world. Others took notice and realized that this is a cool platform. So interior designers started utilizing Floorplanner, architects, builders, developers, certainly educators with all the remote learning that's been occurring in the past handful of years for sure. Anybody that's communicating something about space, two-dimensional plans, furniture layouts, then there's dynamic, beautiful interior three-dimensional images, the renderings. Yeah, there's a lot of purpose as to how to use Floorplanner. And again, a lot of diversity as to whom you all are as users of Floorplanner. So a little bit about my background so you understand how I relate to your individual industries. I've kind of, in my career, come across and teamed with many of you. Myself, I am based here in the United States on the East Coast in a small little coastal town northeast of the United States, Delaware, Rehoboth Beach. My background here in the United States, I'm a licensed architect. I'm licensed down in the state of Florida, also up in the state of New York. I have always been and still am member of the American Institute of Architects here in the United States. I've specialized in architectural interiors, had the great privilege of being a guest speaker at Autodesk University, talking about how to utilize technologies to communicate our design intent ideas, our creative ideas to others, with a baseline of storytelling. How do we communicate to others? Comes from another part of my career path, working for the Walt Disney Company, where I did store planning and design for retail locations here in the US and around the world for their merchandise locations and resorts, and also in their theme parks. I've worked in residential, commercial, retail design. I've supported the interior design industry here in the United States, managing and directing CAD departments, computer-aided drafting, some great teams of CAD specialists. Again, I've had the privilege to be working with their services. For the most part, we were supplying support to decor retailers, interior design firms, and architectural firms by creating two-dimensional plans and three-dimensional images utilizing Autodesk products, AutoCAD, AutoCAD 2D, 3D modeling, and then also for those really beautiful dynamic images that we all want so quickly. A little complicated, but working within 3ds Max and using other softwares to make really beautiful presentation materials. Until in my career path, I also found Floorplanner, as you all have. Floorplanner was a solution I was looking for and even trying to create myself for many years, because I found that my client base and the clients of the design teams that I worked with, the clients all wanted things faster. It was never quick enough. So, everybody's watching the magic occur on interior design shows on TV, where everybody would come out with a tablet and all of a sudden instant rendering, and that's exactly what your home could look like. Yeah, it doesn't always happen that fast. It takes time to actually draft these plans and 3D modeling. Even the rendering itself takes time. So yeah, there's lead times with other softwares and softwares that I enjoy working with, but they do take time and a lot of knowledge and education and experience in your technique, to maximize their usage for time and get the most dynamic image. Floorplanner had this unique ability to go ahead and, yes, CAD, computer aided drafting, and kind of marry that technology with the gaming environment of the new tech that's out there. So yes, easier, web-based, fast, great results. I couldn't help but hop on board, as you all have certainly found Floorplanner, and appreciate you being with me again today so I can share a little bit more in depth of the structure. How does Floorplanner actually work? So let's get started. The diversity inside Floorplanner, it's pretty broad. Certainly, we're generating our two-dimensional layouts and furnishing them in 2D versions. You're always building a 3D model in Floorplanner. It's just the fact that you can view it and make documentation in 2D. Then, of course, the beautiful renderings, bird's eye views, dollhouse views, interior camera views, with those beautiful renderings that I was talking about previously. And then we can take this all the way to real-time render, actual engagement experiences that take you to virtual reality, the virtual reality goggles, and a lot of data extraction from your model also, and including mood boards, presentation boards. Again, a lot of diversity inside Floorplanner. I do have a tendency to overshare, so there's a lot of information I want to communicate with you, but we're going to try to stay on point for today for sure. But there are now, we started in 2007. There are over 25 million registered users of Floorplanner around the world now. I'm based here in the United States, and I'm having the privilege of getting to know many of you around the world through these webinars. This is a recording of one of our live webinars. We do conduct live webinars on a weekly basis, always trying to make sure we are giving you the most current, up-to-date information about the platform. Moving on. There's live webinars. Yeah, the live webinars, there's 5 different flavors of them now. We just added a new one. And where do you find them? When you log into Floorplanner, in your dashboard, in your upper right-hand corner, you will have this button up here that says join. And the notation in here as to the different webinars. There'll actually be some dots across the bottom. They've just updated this now that you can actually select any one of the 5 by the dots that are below that notation up there, or stare at it for a while, and it actually rotates about every 15 seconds if you like, to see the different webinars that are offered. You are in this one currently as a recording of the subscription 6 and projects levels 4, which is today on Tuesdays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. Then when you want to learn more about the user interface and see a demonstration of actually utilizing Floorplanner as a platform, it's great to start with the introduction and demonstration, which is on Thursdays at 11 o'clock. Same time slot, just on Thursdays. Again, always Eastern Standard Time, USA. Then once you've got that under your belt and you're getting comfortable with Floorplanner and you're wanting more advanced techniques, certainly there's an advanced tools webinar, which is offered on Tuesdays. It's a little different in time. That's in the afternoons for myself. That's 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. And then there is something special. There's an advanced features webinar. Now, the advanced features webinar is unique. These are all free offered webinars. You can register as many times as you care to for them. But the advanced features webinar is unique. Of the subscription levels that we're going to talk about today, the pro account subscription level up through enterprise account, this one webinar, Advanced Features, is unique just for those subscription levels. So if you're a basic or plus subscription holder currently, this event you cannot register for. But if you're pro up through enterprise, certainly do come on and join us for it, because we talk about the features that are unique just to pro through enterprise accounts. A little bit more of the custom branding, how to set up your watermarks, templates, title blocks, other features, room style creation that's available to you in those levels from pro and higher. Yet there's one additional webinar that was added, which is again open to everybody. It's a 2D, 3D export settings webinar. Lights, cameras, and presentation. This is offered on Wednesdays at 11:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. We brought this on board because we needed to go to the next level. Everybody was getting so talented in developing their technique with Floorplanner. I've heard a lot of comments saying, I'd really like to master making better camera views and getting those really nice magazine quality results. Floorplanner is a user-friendly platform, but to understand a little of the technique, much like setting a camera, a real camera, it's nice to know where the settings are and the powers that you can make adjustments on to tweak. If you think it looks a little light, it looks a little dark, you can make those adjustments, and just to show you where you can do so. This is a really cool webinar. We have a lot of attendance for it, and we've had some great responses. So please feel free to register for this webinar. Also, again, open to everybody. And again, all webinars are free. How do you get started? Well, if you happen to be currently a basic level subscription with Floorplanner, it wasn't too hard. Basic level is free. So you went to floorplanner.com, you set up your account, you needed a password and an email address. You created your own password, so you were good to go, and you were off and running. You've been able to create projects, 3D models, 2D versions, views of them, and the camera views. Extremely powerful free offering to learn how Floorplanner works. It's a great entry level to get started. A basic level account, the first level of the 6 different subscription levels that are out there, free. It's free. There's no monetary system within there. You're not being issued credits. Credits are the monetary system inside Floorplanner. The other 5 subscription levels have credits that are issued to them on a monthly, or if it's an annual account, annually. And those credits primarily are utilized to upgrade project levels, which we're going to be talking about in a few moments as to what's the difference inside these project levels. A basic user, you've been starting your projects with that free level project, which is called an SD Lite. If you are a pro level and higher, you are starting your projects with the paid for project level, which is called SD. There is a difference between an SD Lite free and an SD paid for project level. Very modest and its expense to create an SD project level takes only 2 credits, and monetarily, since there's different currencies around the world, I would say it's by far much less expensive than a cup of coffee, no matter where you are in the world. So very modest to create a SD level project. And again, we'll get into more detail with that in just a second. Upgrading projects, of course, is the intention with those credits. Even if you're a basic user and if you have your free account, you can do a pay as you go. You can actually purchase a minimum quantity of credits. I believe it's 5. And you can utilize those credits so you too can also upgrade a project to start as an SD, to explore and understand the differences between what you're working with as an SD Lite or an SD level project. Additional information beyond what we're talking about today. As I said, this is a recorded webinar for today, May 16th, 2023. Things change, and Floorplanner, like I said, is not a stagnant program. So to get you the most current information, you can go to the website, floorplanner.com. And when you do so, this is the page you'll see. And one of the tabs up here is your pricings tab. If you hit the pricings tab at floorplanner.com, you'll gain much of the information that I'm talking about today, and also make sure that you're having the most current information available to you at the point that you're actually taking a peek and understanding more about Floorplanner. The subscriptions, there are 6 different subscription levels. We'll give you a little insight, obviously, about basic already. If you are a single one-person user to a subscription with Floorplanner, you're looking at being a basic, plus, or pro account. Basic account, obviously entry level free with its limitations. Plus account starts giving you some additional features and starts an issuance of credits on a monthly basis. Pro accounts, if you're utilizing Floorplanner for professional purposes, I'm going to highly recommend, as a single user, you take a look at the pro account. You'll understand the credits that are being issued to you. And also you'll see the additional features that are available to you as a pro level. A lot of custom branding, watermarks, templates, title blocks, a lot of the items that you'd want to be using for professional purposes. If you are a group utilizing one subscription with Floorplanner, you're talking about being a Teams, business, or enterprise account. Teams accounts go up to 10 different users on the account. Business accounts go up to 100 users on the account. Enterprise accounts are unlimited users on the account. Again, when you're going from basic all the way up to enterprise, you're gaining credit issuance. You're getting more and more credits issued to you. Plus, you also are gaining additional tools and features, more power as you go forward. Something unique about business and enterprise accounts. These are more company oriented, corporate oriented. I always get this question because we have over 180,000 three-dimensional assets, objects inside Floorplanner, furniture and beyond. Furniture and accessories, plants, artwork, puppy dogs, unicorns, T-Rexes. Yeah, they're all in there. It's kind of fun. Go shopping. But you are maybe wanting something specific. So I have this special object, this special thing, and I want to have it put inside Floorplanner. How do I do that? How do I put it inside the platform? It's made by others, by a 3D company, or it hasn't been created at all. The unique feature is that this can be done, but it can only be done and actually contracted through business and enterprise subscriptions because of the nature of their companies and or their corporations. So they, business and enterprise accounts, can contract with Floorplanner to host optimizing a 3D model that was created by others, Intiaro, Cylindro, other 3D companies. And then Floorplanner will host it inside the platform. Or if it hasn't even been built in 3D, this unique item that you want inside the platform, Floorplanner has an incredible team of modelers. Very, very cost effective. I've certainly studied this myself and done the research. So yeah, very cost effective, but phenomenal modelers that will create the product for you as a 3D object, and then Floorplanner hosts that object inside the platform. So yes, certainly items can be built uniquely. For the most part, these business and enterprise accounts, corporations that are out there, other retailers, and also now vendors and manufacturers of products are hosting. what's really, really special about these companies is that these retailers also want to share their 3D models with the floor planner community, which is certainly well received by you all as users of Floor Planner and by ourselves. This is awesome. These are called the brands. You not only have the 180,000 plus three-dimensional object assets that are available inside Floor Planner, but you also have access to the brands. Now, the brands are really beautiful because those particular items are real products that are current out there in the world. And they also, for the most part, have a lot of great features that you can change out fabrics and finishes. Can't change the dimensions on them because they're unique product, they're real, they're real products. They have specific dimensions assigned to them. The corporations that are sharing these 3D models with the floor planner community also have a little benefit in there, is that that item that you're placing inside your model also has a view store button inside there, a little icon that will take you to a link so you can see more of the specifications about that product, including e-commerce, how to purchase that item. So it works really great as a marketing endeavor for these companies also. If you happen to already be an enterprise account or you're a sub-user of your enterprise account of your retailer company, you will most likely only be seeing your brand because the other brands are competition. So the statement that I'm making to see globally all the brands that are available is a unique condition to general users of Floor Planner. If you are a specific business or enterprise account that has only one brand, odds are your administrators, your management of your company may have set your role inside Floor Planner's community to see only your own brand. Makes sense. Any such, let's move on. Let's talk some details. Let's talk about the single one-person user to a Floor Planner account being a basic, plus, or pro account. Basic accounts, starting to learn about Floor Planner, certainly is a great place to start. Free, always like free. You've been able to go ahead and have full editor functionality of the platform inside Floor Planner. You have access to now over 180,000 three-dimensional assets that are inside Floor Planner. It's our general library. Those items, really cool with the general library is that they do have the abilities to change the width, depth, and height of those particular items, meaning that if you wanted to find your something similar to your client's existing style of sofa that they already have on site, or something you're actually specifying, something similar, you have many assets to go through to find something similar. But once you find that similar item, you can actually change it to be the exact dimensions of the real item, the width, depth, and height. So there's a lot of power inside those general items that are available to you. You've been able to create 3D models and view them also in two-dimensional documents, and creating your renderings, your two-dimensional JPEG images, and your interior camera view renderings also. You have also had a time lock. Every time you've sent out a image request to be rendered out to the cloud, it's not the timing that it takes to have that rendering created, because they come back very quickly. It's a time lock for your request. You have to wait 10 minutes to request another rendering. It's a limitation of a basic account. A little irritating, the fact that it happens, but it is part of the nature of a basic account. When you elevate to a plus account, you gain a couple features out there. Number one, you're going to be issued credits, which we're going to talk about how to utilize those credits again for upgrading project levels and even creating an SD level project to start, as there's additional features with that SD that are more valuable, I think, than the SD Lite that you would have in a basic account free. The time lock that I just mentioned is then removed so that you don't have to wait 10 minutes in between your request to send out your document out into the cloud to have your rendering created. You also have the ability as a plus account to go ahead and favorite items. You make your own favorite category, subcategory inside your floor planner platform, where you can favorite for future use the actual 3D objects. Remember, there's over 180,000, so you might find a specific plant that you like to use on a regular basis, or light fixture, specific piece of furniture. You can have them categorized inside one subcategory of favorites of your three-dimensional items. You can also favorite materials and finishes. You may find special wood floorings that you like to use, tile patterns, etc., that are inside our library. And instead of searching for them later, you can have them also favorited. And you can also favorite paints. There's a lot of paint companies that are represented inside Floorplanner, and you can have Floorplanner through its what's called a hex number. It's a digital color code mix number of any paint color company in the world. Floorplanner will custom mix paints for you, and you can even favorite custom mix paints for your future use. Now, this feature of favoriting was expanded into the basic subscription level with some limitations to it. I believe you can only favorite up to like 20 items, so you can get a flavor for how favoriting works. Plus does not have that same limitation. And again, an issuance of 4 credits per month if you're doing a monthly account on your Plus account. Notice also that the price in US dollars of the credit itself actually goes down. It gets less expensive as you elevate your subscription level. Pro accounts, as I mentioned, this is the power. I love pro accounts. These are really cool. Everything we just mentioned, obviously, up to this point, is a benefit to a pro account. You can also, as a pro account, go ahead and custom templates with your logo. So we can go ahead and create those title blocks and watermarks that we talked about earlier in your settings for the times that your document is created. It'll actually be branded based on your company. You can create multiple templates for multiple purposes and reasons of your business. Room type sets. Room type sets. There is a default room type set inside Floorplanner. You're drafting rooms, areas, and those rooms don't know what they are until you tell them what they are. And there is a room type set by default inside Floorplanner where it's a house, and you want to call this area you drafted a living room, that's a room type, or a bedroom as a room type. Those room types by name, and also a color blocking system. Each room type has an associated color. So we can make diagrammatic presentations of floor plans that are color blocked based on this room type set. You can even associate room styles, collections of furnishings based on a specific type of style to those room types in the room type set. And you can create multiple custom room type sets as a pro account. We all have access to the default one that's in there, which gets us familiar with how the room types work and how that room type set does work. But as a pro account, you can create your own custom colors of color blocked areas, the actual text, the nomenclature of those rooms. And like I said, you can even assign room styles to specific room types in a room type set. So what's a room style? Room style is another benefit of being a pro account. I think this is super powerful. As a pro account, you can create as many room styles as you'd like to. A room style is an entire decor set of a specific room type. So if I have a living room and I want to create multiple room styles that would associate with a living room type, it could be a contemporary type of room. It could be a traditional, it could be transitional, coastal, different styles, different colors, different decor. So you're actually building an entire designed living room. You can pick a flooring material, a wall material. You can pick a specific sofa, side chair, coffee table, sofa table, lamp, orchid, drapery, artwork, puppy dog. Yeah, You're finishing the entire room by its entire decor, and you're creating what's called a room style. You name it as you care to. I go Bob's Contemporary Living Room 1. Then make another one, 2, etc. This collection, this room style as a category, classification, grouping, this creation can be assigned to any empty room that's labeled as a room type living room. So if I drafted any shaped room and called it a living room by room type, I can go through any of the room styles that I've created and deposit a specific one that relates to my client, predetermined, and it will place items inside that room and finish out the entire decor all in one step based on something called a magic layout, which is algorithm based geometry. It's not a true artificial intelligence. It will not replace an interior designer, but it's a very fast way to take an entire predetermined collection decor set and assign it into a room, populate a room, and again, based on algorithms, try to place furnishings to logical locations. The algorithms are programmed that coffee table in front of a sofa, a certain distance, etc. Trying to make determinations where doors and windows are. It will not, it certainly will not be maybe your first choice for its layout, but you have the ability to make changes to it at that point. Fact is, it did a very fast layout to the room. You can then move the pieces, delete specific items that you don't want in that collection, add from other collections, and continue your design process from there. But the high speed placement of an entire room style to get you started, very, very valuable. I think you'll see this as a true direction going forward. There's also the reduced credit base down there. Now your credits are $1 per credit. Credits also roll over. If you didn't use them all in 1 month, they will roll over to the next month thereafter. I believe there's a expiration on credits. I think it's like 5 years. That could change, but certainly I think you would be using your credits within that period of time for sure. Okay, moving forward, that's your basic, plus and pro as a single one-person user to an account. If you are a group, teams, business, or enterprise accounts, teams accounts can, like I said, 10 users on an account, business accounts up to 100 users on an account, enterprise accounts, unlimited users on the account. So everything we just spoke about as being a pro account, you have that same list of features and tools available to you. But now since you're a group, you one of your members is an administrator of the account, overseeing as a manager. So starting with a team has 10 users out there, that administrator has the ability to manage the other sub-users of that account, meaning that that administrator has access to all of the projects of that company, all of the exports that are being created of that company, also has the ability to see all of the usage of all the credits. And there's also an assortment of reports that are available, graphs, charts, data of the usage of those credits and the production utilizing Floorplanner. The cost per credits again, and the credit issuance on that monthly basis. When you go to a business account, up to 100 users on that account, you gain some additional features. As I mentioned earlier, business and enterprise accounts both have the added feature to be able to contract with Floorplanner to host a three-dimensional model that's built by others, or even have Floorplanner build specific three-dimensional objects for them. The branded environment that gets added to a business platform within Floorplanner as a subscription is the actual platform that you're utilizing, that you open up on your computer or your iPad or your device, where right now, certainly Floorplanner's brand for itself, the blue and white colorations, logoed as Floorplanner. It's nice to have that environment, so it's actually branded as your specific company. So for business and enterprise accounts, they can use their own company logos, their own color palettes that are traditional and specific to their companies. So it's the actual environment that you're actually building inside Floorplanner that can be customized to be matching to your brand. Enterprise accounts, beyond what we just talked about for business, and of course the cost going down even more for the credit purchases. Enterprise accounts, even less expensive for those credits. Has something unique beyond the branded environment. Enterprise accounts, larger corporations, retailers out there have websites, and they have a client facing sort of appeal inside their websites. So we have the ability within Floorplanner for enterprise accounts to create something called a room planner. A room planner is an added feature that can be inserted into these enterprise accounts websites, so that the client that goes into the website also has access to the room planner, giving that client the ability, limited, simpler, the ability to create a room, their dimensions, and furnish it online through the website, through this room planner feature. And we mentioned about the room styles earlier. Many of the enterprise accounts are also creating their own groupings of their furnishings as they vignette how they actually want to show the groupings of their products. Those have been predetermined. So a client can just say, okay, there's the shape of my room. Of all the shopping and the decor that's out there, I like that one. It will populate inside the room, as I described to you previously, how room styles work. So as a client-facing benefit on their websites, this work that the client can do on their side, preliminary before they go into the showroom or even meet with the client, can also be saved and sent back to the company as a lead. And since the model's also been created in advance, can be also shared with one of the designers or the sales team, so that they can reach out, take advantage of that lead, and also start communicating straight away with that client in a 2D, 3D model environment, take that project to the next level. So outside the custom room planner, API access, a little bit above my knowledge. We're talking about the programmers over in the Netherlands. They have the ability to work with any of the enterprise accounts computer systems. So if there's a way to marry and link information, customize, certainly that's a matter of discussion, but that's through the API access key. Then there is a neat feature inside enterprise accounts, because as I mentioned, business enterprise accounts can contract with Floorplanner to host 3D models by others or build their 3D model pieces by Floorplanner. The expense associated with that is obviously the entire monetary system inside Floorplanner. It's credit-based. So, and being aware of the thousands of assets that need to be built regularly of discontinued items, new items, for those retailers, Floorplanners offer to the enterprise accounts the ability to go ahead and purchase bundles of credits, which are even less expensive than the per credit basis, so that they can have an abundance of credits at a discounted rate to create even more 3D models out there. Again, this is the team, business, and enterprise accounts. We've now gone over the 6 different subscription levels. Taking a little intermission for a second, floorplanner.com website, as I talked about the pricings tab that was at the top up there, there's also a support tab. So as you're getting started with Floorplanner, this is some really great information for you, for training information that's available. If you hit the support tab at floorplanner.com, starts in the upper left-hand corner, you can download a PDF reference manual. We call it an editor manual. It's about 80 some pages long, colored, nice, simplistic, easy to read document that you can keep handy as a training material handy for you. As a PDF, if you have an Apple product, put it in your iBooks. If you have a Windows-based, put it on your desktop, but definitely print yourself a hard copy of it and keep that handy. I will tell you there's at least one page inside that document that is your shortcut hotkeys for your keyboard. Print that out, keep it handy as you work within Floorplanner. I think you'll find it extremely valuable. Social media, we're everywhere. You're going to find Floorplanner all over the place. I'm going to talk about Twitter just for a second. I'm not a big Twitter tweeter person myself, but I do follow Floorplanner on Twitter specifically because Twitter comes to my phone. And as I mentioned, Floorplanner keeps advancing and changing. So we certainly want to keep you totally informed as to what those modifications are, what are the new tools that are there. And maybe we're not logged into Floorplanner 24/7 all the time. So if you follow Floorplanner on Twitter, the programmers over in the Netherlands, as soon as some new tool is activated inside your platform, which happens instantaneously, we've had as many as 5 updates in any given month. It's nice to be aware of that. So they will send out a tweet right away. As soon as the item goes live, a tweet is sent out and comes to my phone. Quick, I'm aware of it. Open up Floorplanner and go take a look. So if you want to really be in the know, follow Floorplanner on Twitter and you'll get all that notification. There is also a Floorplanner channel on YouTube. There's a lot of videos that have been made since 2007. I believe there's been a lot of cleanup out there recently because there were a lot of older webinars that were recorded. If you see me talking in them in these recordings, odds are it's a little newer. But even my recorded webinars get stale very quickly because we keep evolving so fast and we're always trying to put out more updated information. If you hear somebody talk with a really great Dutch accent and it's not me in the recording, odds are that's a little older. Great information, but the platform might look just a little different. So always try to stay with the most current information, but there's some great information out there and we're going to keep updating this Floorplanner channel on YouTube. Live webinars, as we've already gone through in detail. Here's another link to the registration for all those 5 webinars we talked about, which is the best way to get the most current information. Also, when you register for any of those live webinars in the registration form, there's a little section in there for comments. Please go ahead and type in any additional questions. Keep it short if you would, but I do review those questions before every live webinar, just to make sure I can address specific issues and incorporate your inquiries into those instructional sessions. There's links in here for blog posts out there. Also links to Instagram and to Pinterest to see inspirational images by others. There's over 25 million users of Floorplanner around the world. It's awesome to see what others are doing in Floorplanner, utilizing the platform. I'm certainly inspired to see how you all take advantage of all the tools that are available. There's also a contact tab. You've never been dead-ended in Floorplanner. I always get the question, hey, where's the help button, help? It's always been there. It's floorplanner.com, the support tab to the contact tab. When you go to this contact tab, you will get a simple page out there that will have a very simple, your name, email address where you want the response to come back to, and you can type in your question. The only request is that is to be written in English or in Dutch, and then hit send. It goes straight away over to the support team over the Netherlands. They certainly, out of 25 million other users, have had these questions before, and they will get you an answer very quickly. Cool thing about the support team over in the Netherlands, and even myself here in the United States as a training feature, we have direct lines of communication straight away to the programmers. So we can get the question right to the programmer to get you a quick answer, but also if there's something technical that needs to be addressed, not only we're going to get you an answer, we're also going to have it in the hands of the person that's going to go ahead and take care of implementing whatever solution needs to be taken care of. Maybe it was a light fixture that you found that for some reason did not illuminate properly in your rendering, let us know about it. Send that information through and we'll let you know that they're working on it and that it's taken care of. So a really, really cool way to get technical information supported over with questions straight away to the Netherlands team. You also have me here in the United States. If I can get you over a training hurdle, I typically do support pro account subscriptions up through enterprise. But even if you're a basic or plus and subscription and you have a quick question, I can get you over that training hurdle. Send me an email. I'll get you an answer back at bob@floorplanner.com. This is a screenshot of what the editor manual looks like when you find that for your download, that PDF. And remember, there is that page in there for the shortcuts and hotkeys. Please do print this out. I think you will find this really valuable. You're going to like these tools. Oh, sorry, there's that contact tab sheet, just to give you a sense of what it looks like if you had any questions you need to send over to the Netherlands. Basic structure of Floorplanner. Yeah, we are a web-based platform. You don't have to download anything. Yay! It's not so concerned about the RAM and memory of your computer as with other softwares. So web-based, awesome. Web-based is dependent on your internet connection. So it's very important that you have a stable browser, which is your internet connection. Here in the United States, East Coast of the United States for myself, in my area, I have found that Google Chrome is extremely stable for me. I've had no difficulties with it. I'm talking to you all around the world, all over the place. So you tell me geographically, what is your best browser? To find what works best for you, because that internet connection is very, very important. Being a web-based program, you can open up Floorplanner on any device. It doesn't matter if it's Windows-based, doesn't matter if it's Apple-based, doesn't matter if it's a PC, a Mac, a laptop, iPad, tablet, phone, a little small on your phone, at least a tablet. And because you can open it on any device, you can also hop between devices. So I could be working on my home office, utilizing a Windows-based PC, mouse and keyboard, work on my project, save it to the cloud, close down my home-based PC because I have to go meet with my client. So if I'm going to run out into the field, I don't want to drag my computer with me. Something much more manageable is to take my Apple-based iPad, get out in the field, meet with my client, connect to the internet, open up the same project inside my Floorplanner account out in the field, have my presentation materials, my two-dimensional plans, my three-dimensional camera view images, talk to my client, make a little presentation. I'm also on site, so I can physically measure, do as-built measuring of the actual site, change the model to reflect those new measurements that I've taken, save it to the cloud, say goodbye to my client, head on back to my home office where I'd prefer to be working with my mouse, keyboard, and Windows-based computer, open up the same project and continue working on it. So hopping between devices is not a problem. And you don't have to move project files as I do with other softwares. I don't need to use a flash drive or an external hard drive or email some huge file from one device to another because it's all safely stored in the cloud and accessible in the cloud, no matter what device we're opening up on. The cloud, having all these items stored out there, the projects and the exports that you're creating, they also being available and accessible to any device that you're working on. This base of computers, if you will, mysteriously located in the cloud, I believe they're actually over in Ireland and Germany, is a huge bank of computers. Power. This is very important to those of us that do renderings because I use a rather powerful independent PC myself for other softwares to try to speed up rendering times for other programs that I utilize. Floorplanner, because you're doing it in the cloud, is using this massive amount of power. This is how you're getting your renderings back so fast. My renderings working with other softwares using my computer independently, I can get a really good rendering back, honestly, in about a day and a half to 2 days. Full power, one rendering. We are sending our renders out to the cloud for Floorplanner, and we're getting our renderings back as fast as 20 seconds each. That's awesome. And for the quality, it's amazing what we're getting back so fast. the beauty of working in the cloud for sure, like magic. I do prefer you to use a mouse and keyboard myself. Kind of the architect in me, a little bit of a control freak in that regard. But you'll find inside Floorplanner advances that have happened in the past year that when you're working in your 3D view inside Floorplanner, you can move items around in 3D now. And you can also take advantage of the 3D handles that are on any specific object. When you're in 3D, you can move items orthogonally. There's also a little ring on the bottom where you can rotate them. And you can also lift them up in the air for placement vertically to different elevations, like when you're trying to accessorize a shelf unit or an entertainment unit. You can do all that inside 3D where you're making your three-dimensional views to make your design decisions. You want to see what it looks like. So you can make those changes in 3D now. What you'll find with those 3D handles, really cool, is that it works great with the mouse and keyboard too, but with the 3D handles, you can open up your platform on a tablet or on an iPad, and you can use your finger easier, and you can use even a stylus or an Apple Pencil. The power that you have now to be working in 3D while you're viewing it in 3D, really, really cool. Screenshot of my desktop homepage, just to give you a sense that how do you navigate around. In the upper left-hand corner is the 4 squares up there. It's your profile tab, icon for your profile. If you select that tab, you'll see all about yourself. Even if you're an enterprise account working as a sub-user of your company, it'll be all about you as a sub-user account. Inside there, you can also go to your account settings and learn more about your actual initial setups for your specific account. The profile tab, when it's also selected, gives you the right-hand sidebar, which is where you can find the registration for those 5 different flavors of webinar in the top. Also, the new features that are being tweeted out through Twitter are also listed up here. Also, when they go live with the most current new feature listed up here at the top. If you hit the More button up there and the New Features button, it'll actually take you to another link where you can see all of the new advances that have occurred in the previous days, weeks, months, years. And you can scroll through. It's a very quick read, very easy to understand, and at a quick glance, understand the new features that have come available inside the platform. Cool examples. This is that same link in here on the More button that will take you to see the Instagram images of others. Lower right-hand corner, the More on button will also take you to the same link to the Floorplanner channel on YouTube. And this one featured video down here, kind of special. I'm making a special dedicated recording every month to talk about the advances that occurred in the previous month by the programmers. But I will take it a step further and I'll show you how to actually implement and use those advances. I'll keep that video short for you, holding it down to nothing more than 20 minutes. So you can get all the detailed information to understand the new advances that have occurred. Also, when the profile tab is selected, the top 2 rows in here are 2 rows worth of your projects that are stored out in the cloud. And the bottom 2 rows in here are 2 rows worth of your exports, your 2-dimensional images of your 3D models and your 3-dimensional camera views, including your hyperlinks for 3D tours, which are the real-time interactive experiences, virtual reality goggles. They're also stored in here. The differences between an SD Lite and an SD paid for project. The project itself, this is where we're going to talk about the different project levels, but as we get into the project levels, and SD Lite technically is a project level. This is that free feature for basic and plus accounts. Pro accounts do not have access to the SD Lite. They only have access to the first level of paid project as an SD project. SD Lites for your basic and plus users out there, powerful, nice free offering. Building 3D models, 2-dimensional images of it, a 2D view. You can send that out to the cloud to get a 2-dimensional plan. You're going to get it back as a 8.5 by 11 inches, excuse me, I talk in imperial dimensions, and it's going to be a scale to fit document, two-dimensional image. So there's some limitation. You get it back as a JPEG. It's a nice document. It's proportionally correct. It's nice to be able to have that offering. You can also, for that project that you're creating, you can create only one floor of a multi-story project. You can only create one design per any one project, a couple other limitations in there. Your three-dimensional images that you're going to get back, they're going to come back very nice. We could do better. It's the resolution, the pixel count of that image to make it more intense. But again, as a basic or a plus account subscription holder, starting with the SD Lite, a lot of production that you can do with this. But when you cross over to a Pro account and higher, or you purchased credits and you're utilizing those credits to start and elevating a project level to an SD paid for project, the 2 credits that it takes to build that, you're going to gain a lot of additional features. This is the big crossover from SD Lite to SD. As an SD, which will also apply, everything I'm about to say will apply to HD, 4K, and 8K also, that you can create a multi-story project. You can build up to 7 stories, 7 floors of a multi-story project. You can also build, I think more importantly, is multiple designers that we like to show different options. So if I created one room and did my layouts and furnishings and all, or I did an entire house, single floor of a house, and did multiple rooms and did all the decor set and did my presentation to my client, and my client says, "Hey, Bob, love it. Really great design. Fantastic. Yay." But, could you just show me some options? I like to see options. Yeah. Yeah, pretty typical. So yes, as an SD or higher project level, you can go ahead and show different options of that one room of furnishings or multiple rooms of a single floor. You can duplicate that design inside your project and go ahead and change out the furniture selections, change your space planning, your layout, change your finishes and materials. You can even change your architecture. Go back to your original inside the same project, make another duplicate of it and call it Bob's option 3. Change the furniture, change the materials, change the architecture, change the layout. So you can do this up to 10 different designs per floor of this building. 70 different designs, maybe a little too many options for your client, might be confusing, but know that they're available. There's a lot of other reasons why you might want to do multiple designs for your own study's sake, also even specific camera views. That's a whole nother issue, but there's a lot of value being able to generate multiple designs. You also gain a new feature. You were doing a JPEG image for your two-dimensional plan previously as an SD Lite. Now as an SD project level, you can go ahead and send out your three-dimensional model and ask for the two-dimensional plan of it. You can request it back as a PDF. Okay, we're going to get back a PDF. That's great. The resolution on a PDF is really, really nice. So you're getting a very nice pixel count on it. Plus, you can, for that PDF, change the layout sheet size. Talking imperial again, you can get an 8.5 by 11 letter size sheet, an 11 by 17 ledger size sheet, an architectural C size sheet, an 18-inch by 24-inch architectural C sheet, more of a plotter size architecturally, or if you need something even bigger, a 24-inch by 36-inch sheet called an architectural D. Awesome. Get them back scale to fit, proportionally correct, nice two-dimensional documents, but now you can also request them to come back as a scale, a measurable scale. You can even request to have a scaling block printed on the documents. So we can get them back as a 16th inch equals a foot, really teeny. You can get it back as an 1/8 inch equals a foot, still small. You can get it back as a 1/4 inch equals a foot. Basic interior design standard here in the United States for sure, as our presentation scale, 1/4 inch. Also our plastic templates that we utilize, certainly a 1/4 inch scale also. If you need something larger, you can get it back as a 1/2 inch equals a foot. So that's your PDF. Now, you you're getting back this as a nice resolution. Your renderings that you're getting back of your three-dimensional camera views, find these are more beautiful as this SD level versus the SD light, the intensity of them. You're also now working with a Blender rendering engine, which is a very photorealistic rendering tool inside Floorplanner. This is where what's the difference between an SD and HD, 4K and an 8K? All these additional tools and features that I just mentioned are applicable to all four of them. The only difference between an SD, HD, 4K, and 8K, because they're all Blender renderings, they're all photorealistic, they're all equally photorealistic. There's an expense associated with them, of course, but it's the pixel count. It's actually the resolution of the final image. SD, great working class to be, nice classification to be working with for presentations. It looks nice. But if you want to make a wow presentation to your clients, we have found here in the United States with like the top 100 retailers we're working with, everybody seems to have migrated to the HD level of presentation. You'll notice that the pixel count increases, meaning that the resolution. So if you zoom in on an image, it doesn't look like little boxes. It smooths out the image. So a higher pixel count is certainly a higher resolution, makes for a better quality image. HD levels seem to be the presentation level most are using now for the client's presentation for that first wow factor. If you need something larger than that, maybe you need a higher resolution because you're using a 70-inch flat screen TV monitor to do a presentation, something big, and you're zooming in on details while you're making it, and you don't want it to look pixelated. A 4K option is available, giving you a higher resolution. Again, you can see the pixel count associated with that. If you're doing marketing materials, publications, you're talking about being a highest level, looking towards an 8K level, the highest resolution that you can get within Floorplanner. Absolutely gorgeous image. They're all equally photorealistic images. It's just the pixel count. Additional feature that you can add on out there is something called a 3D tour. If you hit a check mark down there, it's 5 additional credits added on to a specific project, one-time fee associated with that one project. 3D tours, a little different than requesting back a PDF or a JPEG image of your two-dimensional plans or three-dimensional camera view images. A 3D tour will actually give you back a hyperlink. The hyperlink can be shared with your clients. There's no weight to it. You can send it in a text, you can send it in an email, you can embed it in a PowerPoint presentation, you can embed it in Microsoft Word document. As long as the intended viewer, user, client has the internet connection running on their device. I even open these on my phone. I like to see this on my phone. It looks really beautiful on your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your computer, mouse, keyboard, finger, any which. When they go into the hyperlink, they will actually go into your 3D model in the cloud in a viewer. So they're not going to be able to change your model or do anything crazy, but they can view and actually tour around independently inside your model. Most importantly, they're touring around inside your model in an environment that's real-time render. I've always wanted to achieve this, but Floorplanner did it first. So that you can actually move around inside that space and not wait for it to render. It is rendered. You're in a gaming environment inside a full rendered environment, so you can tour through the whole space. Look up, look down, look around. Being an architect, I'm not always so cool about giving my client full access to see the property without me showing it to them the way I want them to see it. So the camera views that you've created will also transfer with that link as a pull-down menu to actually go to those specific camera views. And the client can see the way you wanted them to see the property. There's even a play button in there to do a video 3D tour animation through the entire property based on the story you wanted to tell, how you wanted to direct that little movie clip. Based on the camera views that you created and the order that you place them, that's how the story will actually pan out. Really, really nice feature. This link will also open in virtual reality goggles, such as Oculus goggles. now called Meta Quest wireless 3D goggles. Incredible opportunity for your clients to be totally immersed inside the model that you've created, getting a really nice additional feedback from the client, a buy-in to your design, acceptance of it, or even maybe discovery of something specific that maybe we all need to be aware of before you go to the purchasing part that might need to be resolved. So it's a great chance to unveil other features of your model, a different way of looking at it. There's also, as I mentioned, the idea of opening up that link on your phone. You gain something else on your phone. When you open up that same link on your phone, you get a VR button on the bottom right-hand corner of your phone that you can actually, when you select it, it'll split your display of your phone into two circles, which is how you view 3D. And there's some really cool Google cardboard boxes out in the world with little plastic lenses inside them that your phone fits inside. And all of a sudden, you've got a mobile virtual reality experience. Throw it in the trunk of your car, meet with your client, take your phone with you. So if you don't have the other hardwares, it's really, really cool. It's a fun little feature that you can have people engaged in a 3D environment, virtual reality goggles. That 3D tour that I talked about earlier, that play button, you can also, unlimited for that one project, go ahead and create as many stories as you care to. You could change the camera views, change the orders of them, and create another hyperlink and another hyperlink. Really, really, really cool service out there for sure. Also remember that you can edit the details of an existing project. So in the background in here are created projects on my desktop. And if you left click on any one of those projects, you get a left-hand sidebar, kind of basic language of Floorplanner. Click on anything, left-hand sidebar. Left-hand sidebar tells you what you can do with the item you selected. Select one of those options. One's called Edit Details. This is where you could upgrade a project level in the future for those credits that we talked about earlier. And or adding a 3D tour later to a project. Don't have to do it at the beginning. Maybe you spelled the name of the client's name wrong. Oops. You could change it. You could add an address to a project later. You didn't have to do it at the beginning. Certainly for record keeping, it's a good idea to do so. And with all these changes and modifications, or if you made different templates as a pro account or higher, you can change them and update your project. Always remember you're working in the cloud. It's very important that you share this information electronically to the cloud. Anytime you make these changes, always hit those updates. Make sure that's been communicated and stored. The quality of the renderings, can't beat them. This is the type of work I was doing with other platforms and other softwares. To be doing this so quickly inside Floorplanner, the rendering time's coming back to you, depending on the complexity of the model. I mean, I've gotten renders back as fast as 20 seconds. Again, depending on the resolution that you're working with, but the quality is awesome. You're also going to find that the Blender render inside Floorplanner also is very responsive to the light level settings, your lamps, your lights that can be turned on and turned off. They all have dimmer switches on them. Even the sun itself has the radiance of the sunshine on this side of the glass, on the indoor, and on the other side of the glass out there, outdoors. You can change the radiance, the intensity of that sunshine to be a little brighter, a little darker. It's subjective. You may say, Bob, my picture looks a little too light. My picture looks a little too dark. You can tweak it. Make those adjustments with that camera setting and go ahead and re-render it. There's no expense to doing another rendering. Do as many as you care to, and you get it exactly the way you want it. But when you tweak those light levels, I think you're going to be amazed when you start seeing the realism just keeps improving, getting better and better. I talked pretty much so in detail about all of this, but you can see visually the different resolution pixel counts and the differences between the SD, HD, 4K, and 8K. And visual of the same, that they are all equally photorealistic. It's just the pixel count. You also, as an SD level project or higher, do have the ability to go ahead and download your project, the actual project file, as an FML file, as a copy out of the cloud. Although leave them in the cloud. They're accessible in the cloud. They're accessible on all devices in the cloud. They're backed up in the cloud. They're secure in the cloud. They're safe in the cloud. But some people like ownership. So if you want to download it as an FML file format, that's great. FML, if you're not familiar with it, it's unique only to Floorplanner, and it only opens in Floorplanner. If you want something otherwise, as a SD level or higher, you can download of your 3D model a file called a DXF. A DXF is a vector file of the floor plan in 2D. So you build a 3D model, exporting it and downloading a copy of it as a DXF, you get back of the structure, not of the furnishings, a DXF floor plan vector file. Vector files are really cool because as a DXF, if you're familiar with it, DXFs open in AutoCAD, can be inserted in AutoCAD, it can open in AutoCAD. I believe other platforms also that work with DXF. It's a nice translation from a floor planner 3D model to a two-dimensional document if you require that. Quality of the images, again, can't speak highly enough of them, and the speed at which we're getting these back. The 3D tour talked about that pretty extensively of how that functions. I do a demo of this in our advanced tools webinar, if you'd ever like to see it, because these are like hyperlinks that I've embedded inside this PowerPoint presentation where I can show you exactly how that works. Don't forget you have Styleboards also now available inside Floorplanner, where you can actually create similar to like a slideshow presentation, a single slide image that you could put a paint sample, a flooring sample. It's a mood board. The furnishings. Cool thing about the furniture, making a presentation like this versus just doing a slideshow presentation with other platforms, is that Floorplanner has the 3D model. So if all of a sudden you say, you know, that dining room chair looks nice in the perspective image, but the real detail is the back of it, and it's really beautiful from the back. You can choose what view you want to show in this mood board presentation. The labeling can be turned on, off, text can be added. You can upload your own JPEG, PNG images, maybe an inspirational image, picture of the ocean that was your inspiration for the color scheme and the palette that you're working with. Yeah. It's really, really powerful. A nice added feature within Floorplanner to your project. Floorscanner, neat technology, certainly something that's going forward. Floorscanner came out in the past year. When Floorscanner came out, it took advantage of Apple's hardware. Apple, for its iPhones and iPads 12, 13, 14 Pro versions, Apple put a little extra circle on the back of your cameras up here. And what it is, it's a LiDAR scanning device so that programmers could develop platforms or apps that will go ahead and allow their devices, their hardware, to act as scanners and translate that information to something else. Floorplanner took advantage of this and created an app called Floorscanner. It's free. And what it does, it allows your device, currently the 12, 13, 14 Pro, to go ahead and scan a room and capture the information of the 3D model and create a 3D model inside Floorplanner as a project. Awesome new technology. When it first came out, it was for multiple rooms of a single floor. You could go from room to room to room and complete an entire scan. When it first came out, it kind of looked like it does in the lower right-hand corner over here, kind of like a heat sensor. And you're actually filling in the black polygons with the color. And once you've captured all the color, you figure you've scanned the whole room. That scan then goes to the cloud, gets translated as a 3D model, and is deposited inside your platform, waiting for you inside your Floorplanner account, ready to go. This older technology, even though it was earlier technology within Floorplanner, as for Floorscanner, it can take up to 2 days to process. And there is a credit expense associated with this. This is where it says full floor plan credits needed. The expense of those credits and the time lag on it, it's still a wonderful feature. I got more excited with the newer technology that came out later in the year of the same app. There's a tag up there called single room for free. Free, I like free. You can do multiple single rooms for free. I like this. Okay, it's a little different technology. So I thought it'd be worthy to show this to you. This is an example of it, actually utilizing my phone's videoed what was actually showing on my phone when I went into a bedroom to do a scan. Didn't have to move the furniture, didn't have to change anything. Just took my phone in the middle of the room and just pointed it around the room for the single room for free. Different technology, same app, free. So I did not edit this video. I have not cropped it, sped it up or anything. This is real time. This is exactly as it happened. So let's take a peek. I have my play button. Here we go. I opened up the app, linked to my Floorplanner account, hit single room for free, hit the start scanning button, and just pointed my phone, it was actually this phone, just pointed it around the room. And this is what started showing up on my screen. It's actually translating the room. It's reading the room just by pointing my camera around it. You can see there's white lines being created. This is the new technology that came out. It's understanding where the windows are. It's understanding where the doors are. It's understanding the walls, ceiling heights, corners. It's making assumptions about the furniture. You can see the model actually being created in the bottom. This is not a 2-day wait period type technology. This is happening instantaneously in real time. The model that's being created at the bottom, we can say, okay, well, there it is. Maybe I want to take a look at it, see if I captured everything. Opened it up, moved my finger around on my phone, took a look at it saying, looks like I got everything, looks good. If it looks good, you hit the looks great button. Didn't look good, hit the rescan button. I was good, looks great, hit the button, comes up. Here's the magic. I'm still on my phone and it's actually opening up my Floorplanner account on my phone. And it created the model, it's done. The model is created, a project is created, it's inside my Floorplanner account waiting for me. It's done. I can turn off my phone now and just go away and open up my Floorplanner account. But it's a bedroom and I'm still with my client. So I'm like, okay, it's a bedroom. We talked about room types and room styles and yeah. What if I change the room type to something else? It's a bedroom, but today's day, we're all trying to look for home offices in our home. We could change the room type to something else other than a bedroom. If I change it down, say I want to make you a home office, room style collections that have been predetermined, created room styles, pick one of them, hit the room style, said, okay, it's now applied it to that room, hit the magic layout button. It replaced all the bedroom furniture and did, based on algorithms, that collection laid out in space planning inside that room. Again, I could close out my phone right now and just say I'm done with this, say goodbye to my client, come back to my home office, open up my Floorplanner account, open up this one project. This is how it'll be waiting for me. Take out that furniture, change the materials, do my decor settings. Most valuable thing is it captured the room as an as-built measure without taking a tape measure, not taking a laser measure, not taking days and hours, measuring someone's home. New technology. This is absolutely amazing. I did go back to that room to verify the dimensions to see the accuracy with it. I noticed the difference was within a ½ an inch, which was good enough for me. I was perfectly happy with the ½ an inch being the difference out there. Yet, in Floorplanner, you can modify your plan and shift the walls to account for that ½ inch and be 100% accurate if you care to. Watch this as the advances keep occurring within Floorplanner, because Floorscanner, the programmers that are working on this currently are working on other advances, just improve it, obviously, even more than it is now, but also looking at opportunities to open up Floorscanner on other devices other than the 12, 13, 14 Pro, as they're restricted to the LiDAR device that's inside the hardware. So we're working around that. We'll see where that comes. But for right now, this is a functioning app. Totally awesome. Keep watch on it. I think you'll find that this is truly the direction of the future. Custom images on the wall. Don't forget that you can upload your own JPEG PNG images to any wall surface inside Floorplanner. We have a great library of materials, finishes, wallpapers, woods, trims, tiles. Nice library, but fashion keeps changing, and there's brand new wallpapers, and there's brand new materials, murals, your client's own personal artwork that you have to design around. If you have the image, if you have a JPEG PNG image of anything, wallpaper, artwork, paneling systems, anything, you can upload them now yourself to a wall surface inside your floor planner model, scale it properly, repeat it, apply it to the wall. Phenomenal design tool for sure. A few talking points on the way out, just some of my models I've built in the past, just to remind me to mention to you that the floor planner three-dimensional assets that are inside floor planner play very nice with each other. Where in other platforms and software that I use, that if they get too close to each other, touch or merge, they make a black screen of death and they do not render. In floor planner, you don't have that problem at all. So items like toss pillows and such, you want to overlap them, rotate them, tilt them, you can do so. And think out of the box. If maybe you're not a business or enterprise account and you can't build everything yourself to do custom items, but you got over 180,000 plus assets inside Floor Planner and 60, 80,000 additional brands and more coming, you can be creative and take from one to another, resize a piece, and sort of build your own custom piece if you had to. So use your imagination. You have a lot of power in Floor Planner with the tens of thousands of assets that are available to you. I talked about generating multiple designs for showing different designs to your client, different layouts, different colors, different actual objects, furnishings. I do utilize making multiple designs also for camera views. Sometimes I want to make a camera view that doesn't have some items in the foreground. A chandelier had to be deleted, a piece of furniture, a dining room rug, etc. But I didn't want to corrupt my original design. So if I make a duplicate of the design and go ahead and delete those items and then set my camera view accordingly, and just call that design camera 1, I can do that. So multiple designs, not just for the client's options, but also for the camera views. Also, you'll notice in your camera settings, there's a field of view. Field of view is like a wide angle lens, like a fisheye lens that you do on any camera, but more is not always better, capturing the entire room because it distorts the room. And also you'll find that the furniture's legs, they start splaying out a bit. So you want to keep a nice magazine quality image, keep things nice and vertical, nice linear lines, like these bar stools over here, but yet I've captured the whole room. This is a little trick. So I made a duplicate design just for this camera view, took my field of view smaller to make everything nice and linear, but you'll find when you make your field of view smaller, it pushes your camera forward. And you always want to move your camera backwards. Well, if you move your camera backwards to capture the room, yet your field of view is small, you're going to slam into the wall behind you very, very quickly, even through the wall. So as a duplicate design, I actually took the wall and stretched it as far as 50 feet backwards, just to put my camera into the proper location with the field of view being small to get this magazine quality image. You can't see that I did that because the wall's behind me. But that's the little trick to get everything nice and linear, beautifully vertical lines, nothing splaying out in the legs, but still being able to back your camera up far enough to get just this image. Everybody says, hey, Bob, why didn't you just delete the wall? If you delete the wall, you lose your floor and you lose your ceiling, and it floods the room with natural light. So stretching walls, very valuable but you didn't corrupt your original design because it's a duplicate of the original design. Moving items around in 3D, talked about that earlier. Boy, if I didn't have those tools to do this design work and design decision making when I'm in 3D, this would have been almost impossible. Placing all these items on here, rotating them, and you'll find that artwork, since it adheres to the wall anyway, those decisions to make a composition of artwork on the wall, How cool is that you can actually make the decisions when you're in 3D, drag the pieces around visually until you get it just the way you want it. And you can also select those items in 3D. Say, as a placeholder, I want that piece of artwork actually to be a little bigger. I want to make it 2 feet by 2 feet. You can do that while you're in 3D, resize those as placeholders, and then do your layout and be done with it. Adding additional architectural trims certainly makes more realism in your image. So always remember to add your baseboards. Here in the US, they are called skirting boards over there in Europe. So you'll see them listed as skirting boards. Coving, European term for the crown molding also. Light switches. Add them because the psychology of it is make the room look more realistic. Mirrors are awesome. Mirrors will truly reflect the image on the other side of the room. So please make sure you finish your decor, finish your design work on the other side of the room. Rather important to make sure that you have a finished room showing inside your mirror. The sun is coming in from behind me. You can see the slow, simple cast of sun and the shadows that it creates, adding for that additional realism. Recessed can lights, hi-hats in the ceiling. There's a lot of light fixtures inside Floorplanner. Certainly work with them, turn them on, turn them off, dimmer switches on them as you care to, get them closer to the wall. These can lights, they make those nice casts of triangles of light on the walls. Last image on my way out here, good image. A little busy. I've got a lot going on in here. I did that same trick as a multiple design to make sure everything looks beautifully linear, so nothing looked unusual. I want nice clean lines. My field of view was set small, pulled my camera back. Lights and the recessed can lights are bouncing light on top of the furniture down here. Nice up close to the wallpaper at the back, nice cast light. I've got the skirting board going on at the bottom. I've got the coving at the top. I missed something in this image, and I always tell on myself, is that I have this really beautiful dark floor, this mahogany and some ebony inside there in the foreground. And I have this really beautiful Tudor window over here with the diamond pattern of the mullions inside there. I missed the opportunity to have directional sun, which you can do in Floorplanner. I could have directed the sun through this window and cast beautiful diamond shapes of sunlight on that dark floor in the foreground. The same diamonds of sunlight would have gone across the rug. They would have gone upward across the little side table over here, this polished brass, the polished brass of the side chair over here, and even the velvet, this navy blue velvet fabric of the chair itself. It would have made such a difference. It would not have changed my space planning. It would not have changed the furnishings that I selected. It wouldn't have changed my decor, my colors, my layout, no. But it would have made for a much more artistic, more beautiful image, more inspiring, more attractive to my client for my first impact, my first wow impression to give my client. The point is, you have the ability to do this in Floorplanner. Making multiple renderings is no additional expense. You can make as many renderings as you care to. So show your best image to your client. Take the extra time, use the tools that are inside Floorplanner to be more creative. Go for the artistic aspect of it and make a more impactful image. Great image here still, could have been better. So know that that's available to you. Take the time to impress your clients for sure. Making space planning and interior design accessible to everybody since 2007. Mission statement of Floorplanner, keep it simple. Even though I say a lot of words in my presentations and such, I'm trying to give you a lot of information, get you comfortable with Floorplanner. The principle, the mission statement of Floorplanner has always been since 2007 to keep it simple, to keep this as a platform that's user-friendly, intuitive, even with the advances that are occurring. The magic for Floorplanner is really happening behind the scenes. So you don't have 300 filters that you have to choose when you're doing your rendering to make the render perfect. You have simple little toggle switches and little buttons and little icons inside Floorplanner. You make the minimal selections, get your camera set, send it to the cloud. The programmers in the Netherlands are making all the magic happen for you to get these really incredible quality rendered images for your presentations. We're going to continue this methodology because, like I said, Floorplanner keeps advancing. We're not a stale, stagnant sort of program, but we don't want to turn into a complex program. So as these additional advances are occurring, our platform will do everything it can to make sure it stays as simple toggle switches. You'll have myself with the live webinars and the recorded webinars out there and the featured videos to make sure that you're comfortable with those new changes. But again, not to make this a complicated platform, but still powerful, because there's a lot of new tech coming out and we have great opportunities to take advantage of it. So I hope you've enjoyed your subscription 6 and your project upgrades 4 overview for Floorplanner. I hope it has answered questions for you that you may have had in the past about Floorplanner, how the structure works, how the platform works, what are these different subscriptions, and what are project levels. If I missed anything for you all specifically, feel free, send me an email at bob@floorplanner.com, and I'll try to get you back an answer as fast as I can, get you over any training hurdles. Otherwise, keep on coming back for the live webinars, please. Like I said, there are little comment sections in those registrations where you can ask me additional questions there. Sometimes we have a little time for Q&A. Try to keep an eye on some of those during our live webinars if I can answer questions at the same time. But otherwise, appreciate you being with me today for this recording. And I hope to see you in the future at one of our live webinars. And otherwise, have fun. Enjoy utilizing Floorplanner. I think it's a great platform, user-friendly, extremely powerful. Have a great day. Thanks.